What would your life be like if you could quiet the constant voice in your head, the one that worries, compares, judges, and replays the past? What if you could stop fighting your thoughts and emotions, and instead live in deep, effortless peace? That's the promise of The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, a guide to freeing yourself from the limits of the mind and discovering the boundless awareness within you. Singer begins with a simple but radical idea. You are not your thoughts. You are not even the voice in your head. You are the one who hears that voice, the conscious observer behind it. Most people spend their entire lives trapped in their thoughts, believing that mental chatter is who they are. But when you step back and watch those thoughts objectively, you begin to awaken. The first major lesson from The Untethered Soul is, you are not your mind. Singer invites us to notice the constant inner dialogue running through our heads, the stream of commentary that never stops. It argues, criticizes, worries, fantasizes, and replays old memories. Most of us live as if that voice were our identity, but if you can observe it, then it can't be you. Imagine your mind as a roommate who never stops talking, sometimes kind, often fearful, always opinionated. If you wouldn't take advice from a roommate like that, why take advice from the voice in your head? True freedom begins when you realize you are the witness, not the chatter. The second lesson is the seat of self. Singer describes a moment of awakening that happens when you realize, I am not the one who talks. I'm the one who notices. This shift from identification to observation is the essence of spiritual growth. You are the consciousness behind your experiences, the unchanging awareness that watches thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go. When you rest in that awareness, life feels spacious and peaceful. You stop being tossed around by every emotion. You become like the sky, vast and open, while your thoughts and emotions are just passing clouds. The third lesson is the energy of life must flow. Singer explains that your heart is not just a physical organ, it's the center of your emotional energy. When you cling to pain, resentment, or fear, you block that energy. You literally close your heart. This creates emotional tension that feels like heaviness or tightness inside. Freedom means letting energy flow freely through you, allowing every emotion to rise and pass without resistance. When someone hurts you or life disappoints you, don't close down, breathe. Feel the emotion fully, but don't hold on to it. Singer calls this the art of letting go. The fourth lesson is let go of the inner thorn. Singer uses a powerful metaphor. Imagine you have a thorn in your arm. Every time something touches it, it hurts. Instead of removing the thorn, you build your life around protecting it. You avoid people, situations, or conversations that might touch it. This is how we live emotionally. We carry inner pain from the past, rejection, fear, shame, and we build our lives to avoid triggering it. True healing happens when we face the thorn directly, feel the pain, and remove it. Avoiding discomfort keeps you stuck. Embracing it sets you free. The fifth lesson is, freedom comes from surrender, not control. Most people spend their lives trying to control the outside world circumstances, people, and outcomes to avoid discomfort. But Singer explains that control is an illusion. The more we try to make life fit our preferences, the more anxious we become. Freedom doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from surrendering to it. This doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting each moment as it is, without resistance. Life is always changing, and peace comes from allowing that flow instead of fighting it. The sixth lesson is the voice of fear. Singer explains that fear is just energy, a natural response to uncertainty. The problem isn't fear itself, but our relationship with it. When fear arises, we usually contract, resist, or distract ourselves, but fear only grows when resisted. Instead, he teaches us to relax in the face of fear, notice it, breathe into it, let it pass through you. When you stop fighting fear, it loses its control over you. Courage, Singer reminds us, isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to feel it and still move forward. The seventh lesson is the spiritual heart. When your heart is open, you experience life fully. Love, joy, compassion, and connection flow naturally. But when you close your heart through anger, defensiveness, or resentment, you block that energy. Singer urges us to keep our hearts open no matter what. He says, learn to stop closing your heart. The moment it starts to close, relax and release. It's a lifelong practice, staying open even when you're hurt, staying kind even when life feels unfair. The reward is a deep, unshakable inner peace. The eighth lesson is the path of surrender. Singer describes spiritual growth as a process of continual letting go. Every experience, good or bad, becomes an opportunity to release attachment. We cling to pleasure, we resist pain, and in doing so, we suffer. The moment you stop clinging and resisting, you discover freedom. He writes, eventually, you will see that the real cause of problems is not life itself. It's the commotion the mind makes about life. When you surrender to the flow of life, you stop suffering and start living. The ninth lesson is transcending the personal self. Singer explains that most of our suffering comes from identifying too strongly with the personal me, the bundle of memories, opinions, and desires we call our identity. But who were you before your story? Who are you beyond your name, your job, or your thoughts? When you ask that question deeply, you realize that the true self, pure consciousness, is beyond the personal mind. It's the same awareness that's been with you since childhood, watching life unfold. That awareness is eternal, untouched by circumstance. The 10th lesson is inner freedom. The ultimate goal of the untethered soul is inner freedom, the ability to stay centered no matter what happens around you. Singer describes it as living with an open heart and a quiet mind. When you stop reacting to every thought or emotion, you discover a deep stillness inside, a peace that isn't dependent on anything external. You no longer need the world to behave a certain way to feel okay. You are free because you are no longer tethered to fear, control, or attachment. The 11th lesson is spiritual growth through awareness. Singer emphasizes that growth doesn't come from adding new beliefs. It comes from awareness. Simply observe yourself, your thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. This awareness itself begins to dissolve the patterns that keep you trapped. He writes, the moment you see you're not okay, you're already okay. Because the one who sees is pure consciousness, already peaceful, already free. The 12th and final lesson is live from the seat of the soul. Singer calls the ultimate state of freedom the seat of the soul, the position of pure awareness from which you observe the unfolding of life. When you rest in that seat, life continues as before. Challenges arise, emotions come and go, but you're no longer lost in them. You live with ease, gratitude, and wonder. You stop being the actor lost in the play and become the audience watching it with awe. This doesn't make you detached from life, it makes you more present than ever. So how do you apply the untethered soul in your daily life? Start by observing the voice in your head. Don't try to silence it, just notice it. Each time you feel fear or tension, breathe and relax. Let go instead of resisting. When you notice your heart closing, open it again. Practice surrender to each moment, to life itself. Over time, you'll begin to experience a quiet joy, a peace that doesn't depend on achievement, approval, or control. You'll realize that freedom was never something to find, it was within you all along. The big takeaway from the Untethered Soul is this: you are not your thoughts, emotions, or experiences. You are the awareness behind them, infinite, untethered, and free. When you stop clinging to the past or fearing the future, you begin to live fully, freely, and in harmony with life itself. That was The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, broken down into its most powerful lessons in under 12 minutes. Which part resonated most with you: letting go, surrender, or living from awareness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this summary, make sure to like this video, subscribe to 10-Minute Books, and ring the bell so you never miss our weekly breakdowns of life-changing books. Thanks for watching, and remember, freedom isn't something you achieve, it's something you remember.